Apple WWDC 2020, what iPhone users should watch out for. Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference, popularly known as WWDC, is about to begin in a few hours. Although this time, Apple has improvised this year's event to make it online only since the pandemic has forced everyone to be locked inside their homes. Apple will begin its keynote today at 10:30 p.m. IST and announce the major updates to the iOS, iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, and watchOS. But the biggest takeaway from today's event could be Apple launching its ARM-based Mac computers, in its bid to ditch the Intel chips finally. There is going to be a lot of headline announcements at Apple's today's event, but what is in for iPhone users? For starters, there is speculation going around that Apple may rename iOS to iPhoneOS as it looks to make the nomenclature for operating systems for its products uniform. So, if the operating system for Apple Watch is called watchOS, it is macOS for Macs, it will be iPhoneOS for iPhones. Even last year, Apple gave iOS a distinctive version for iPads, called the iPadOS. There is no official confirmation to this rumor, but the internet is divided between the authenticity of this piece of information. If John Prosser is to be believed, the iOS could be renamed to iPhoneOS for very practical reasons, since all other product categories, except the iPod, will have their names in their operating system versions. The same speculation is something that Max Weinbach also said could be true. But, at the same time, if you go by what renowned Apple tipster Mark Gurman has said on Twitter, Apple may not do that after all, and iOS will just be iOS after today's announcements. A similar rebuttal to the speculation has cropped up on China's Weibo platform, wherein a tipster has claimed Apple will preserve the name of iPhone's operating system. For what it is worth, iOS will not intricately change much with the name change. This essentially means while the name could be changed, but iOS functionalities will not see any makeover in a big way. Of course, there will be enhancements and improvements to the software with the latest version. So what are things you can expect will come to your iPhone later this year? Apple has been lambasted for its obsolete App Store policy, after the recent controversy involving the brand new Hey email app created by Basecamp's developers. The Cupertino is likely to reduce the cut it charges on app transactions that are made via the App Store. But that is a long shot for the company that has not eased its norms for app developers, even after multiple backlashes. Apple may also have the opportunity to finally let iPhone users change the default apps for, say, browsing the internet. The iOS home screen is also very likely to undergo an overhaul, and speculations are Apple could finally let home widgets to float around on your iPhone's home screen. Much like Android, iOS could too leverage the extra efforts developers put into making their apps to develop widgets that do not need the user to enter the app for accessing basic tools. There could be a list view for apps on the home screen, which could reduce the visual complexity of the interface. The iMessage could get the mention feature, much like how it works on Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp for group chats. iPhone users could mention people in a group chat using the @ symbol, followed by their name. Apple could also include the delete option for messages after they have been sent and mark messages as unread. Safari browser cool.